Domino's usually does the trick, but yes, I fancy a fancy pizza from time to time.
Where in Spokane is like your favorite place to go?
Veracci is pretty good, even though it's not called Veracci anymore. I refuse to call it by what it
currently is.
now known as.
Right.
The Flying Goat is pretty solid, and that's the extent of my exotic pizza endeavors.
So Market Street Pizza.
Oh, yes.
Have you been there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that place is killer.
Super divey. Yeah, it gives me a lot of
yeah.
anxiety being in there.
For sure. It's not like a Flying Goat type pizza. Like this
No.
is like, hey, if you want like a really good tasting pizza, like super fatty and like just ridiculously like greasy and yummy.
Market Street Pizza is fantastic.
See? There we go.
It is
Sam knows what he's
fantastic.
talking
Yeah,
about.
it's Hilliard AF, but
You gotta love Hilliard though. There's nothing wrong with a good Hilliard dive.
No, there's not. No, not when
They
the
have
grease is coming out the pores.
They have some great pool halls over there, by the way. If you want to play pool, like there, you'll always have space.
Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact. All right. Welcome to the Locker Room, show number 49. I'm your host, Justin Reed, alongside Andrew Tenney. And we have quite the show lined up. It's the Independence Day show, considering the 4th of July is only 3 days away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. 4th of July is probably one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah, how could it not be?
I mean, if not, you're a communist.
But are you going to church on Sunday?
I will be at the lake getting ready for... God
Not
understands.
super patriotic
God
of
understands.
you.
If I sing the Star Spangled Banner on Sunday and I, take my hat off, do my whole thing.
I think God only
understands.
makes excuses for the NFL, not exactly Independence Day.
There's nothing more American than the NFL and Independence Day, so I think they work hand in hand.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Fair take.
All right, so we also have a couple other things to talk about. So we have a special guest coming on here in a little bit. It has something to do with the football that's currently lined up there on the front of the table, which I caught 2 weeks ago.
Very nice.
Middle of the game. We also have a couple tickets to the Spokane Shock to give away. At some point during the show, it'll be a surprise. So that means you have to continue to watch, those of you who are currently watching. The phone number when that does happen will be 509-624-2994. And we'll flash it on the screen when that time comes. To call in to get those tickets. We'll take call number 2. Yeah, we'll make it interesting. We'll not take the first caller, but we'll do that later on in the show here. All right. What do we? Let's do our favorite company first, and then we'll go over some jerseys of number 49.
Yeah, why don't we? Let's give our weekly shout out to our favorite company in the world, Lucky Bird. As you guys know, Lucky Bird is a Spokane-based e-commerce and digital marketing company dedicated to helping local companies scale in the online world of e-commerce and digital marketing. So we always want you guys to visit luckybirdbrands.com to have a down-to-earth, no-pressure conversation about your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies today and every day for the rest of your life.
Every single day, use Lucky Bird.
Yep.
And I don't even care if you don't even need them.
We don't need them. I hit them up every day.
We do, every single day. That's our favorite company, favorite place, favorite people. All right, number 49.
Clint Gresham.
Clint Gresham's a great one.
Okay,
I love
damn
Clint
it.
Gresham.
I thought I was going to catch you off guard a little bit with that one.
I love Clint Gresham, the Seahawks' best long snapper of all time.
All-time, no.
All-time best
I
long
remember he
snapper.
had like a neck strain or something, and I was checking the injury report, and I was like, we're screwed.
Well, who's going to do that? It's a very underrated position that you don't really think about, but without him, you don't punt and you don't kick.
100%.
And people are like, well, special teams doesn't really matter. Well, you win the special teams battle, you win a lot of games.
Was Steven Hauschka really Steven Hauschka without Clint Gresham?
No, and John Ryan was not John Ryan without Clint Gresham.
No,
for sure.
He was not.
I got a couple more here for you. Shaquem Griffin was 49.
Oh, yeah, that was obvious.
The one-armed bandit. And then Atula Millie. You remember him for the old Seahawks player? He played like 99. You would have just had.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he was a tight end. I remember playing with him on like Madden 2000.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Or Madden 2001, something. A couple of Mariners players who were number 49. Blake Bevan, trash pitcher. Giovanni Gallardo, trash pitcher. Wade LeBlanc, trash pitcher. And then Kendall Graveman, actually a good pitcher.
All right.
I don't know if he's
Thank
given
God.
up a run yet this year. He's a reliever, but he also has a tumor in his neck that he's playing through, so that's like pretty impressive, I think.
Shout out to him.
I mean, I don't know if I'd play through a tumor in my neck.
No, probably not.
I think he's that takes a special kind of player, I think,
take
for
paid
sure.
time off for that.
Yeah, some nice PTO. Again, for those who are watching, we do have some tickets to give away later in the show, and I'm just going to tell them who we're bringing on. Keep them
Okay, go ahead.
interested.
Yeah, just blow your load.
It's gonna be Billy Back of the Spokane Shock, head coach Billy Back. He will be back in the studio.
Nice.
I mean, it wasn't the worst.
That was so under the radar. I didn't even pick up on that when you said it.
That's fine. We're gonna celebrate Old Glory Billy Back here on the show. But first, we're going to jump into some NBA talk. I think those playoffs are still happening, and I think there's another injury that happened as well. Actually, couple.
Add it to the laundry list. How many games have you watched? Because I feel like the over-under that I could set.
Over-under. What do you think?
1.5.
Throughout the whole playoffs?
Yeah.
Definitely over.
Okay.
Actually,
all
over.
Right. I genuinely thought that you have been like completely in my
I have not watched a full game, though.
Okay.
But I watched a decent portion. I watched a half yesterday. I watched probably a quarter and a half of the Bucks-Hawks game the day before. I'm keeping up enough. Like, I didn't see the Giannis injury. I saw Paul George going off 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I didn't realize Chris Paul was having that impressive of a game until I saw the box score. I'm like, he just dropped 41 points.
Right.
That old man just dropped 41. So, no, I did watch the game. Phoenix should have won this series. I mean, the Clippers, without Kawhi, were just not going to do well.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what happened. Paul George, bless his heart, getting destroyed his entire last couple seasons, actually put together a really solid playoff season. He scored 20+ points in every single game.
Mm-hmm. He had a streak going. Yeah,
which is like one of the top in history or something.
It was like Jordan and Kareem are the only or some sort of
really impressive.
Obscure
and
statistic.
I don't like Paul George, but I will give him his credit. Where credit is due.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when people are like, "Oh, give him his flowers." Like, why have you been hating on him? Why have you been trashing him? And why have you been slandering his name? It's like, okay, we're just reacting to what we have to go off of. Obviously, as we get new information and he plays more games or he performs differently, i.e. better, we're going to change the narrative or the tune that surrounds him. But, he really did a lot to salvage his reputation in the NBA. Ty Lue continued to make a name for himself as a playoff coach. A lot of adjustments, a lot of tinkering throughout the first few games of the series until, it kind of gets to nut crunching time and you got to play your best five. Right. It kind of helped that Zubats had been hurt the last couple of games, so they were able to just go to that small ball five lineup. That really got them back in the Dallas series as well as the Utah series. And in Utah, they were able to exploit Rudy Gobert because Quinn Snyder just refused to take him out. And it kind of worked in Game 5 against Phoenix. And Ayton, for the first time all postseason, looked exposed and looked like he couldn't, defend on the perimeter, and it gave him problems. However, the Suns really fixed that in Game 6, and Ayton, I think he was 17 and 18. Points or rebounds or something like that. He had an incredible game, a lot of nice finishes around the rim. He actually was able to punish the Clippers for going small there. And Suns back in the finals for the first time since '93. I do have stuff that I want to touch on with Chris Paul later in the show for my closing time as far as legacy and big picture perspective goes. But a lot of chatter about the injuries, and understandably so. They have happened almost exclusively to the stars of the league, as opposed to just role players or guys that may play less significant of roles within their teams.
And that goes back to the whole load management thing throughout the season. And LeBron's talking about, such a quick turnaround. It's like, well, nobody else is really getting hurt at this sort of pace. It's literally only the stars. I literally just think it's a coincidence.
Well, if you look at each one of the injuries, the major ones, I mean, Trey. Fluke accident, steps out of bounds on a ref's foot.
Right.
Giannis comes down, lands strangely, hyperextends his knee. Dating back to freaking Kawhi, not Kawhi going out. Who rolled his ankle hard? Kyrie. There's so many at this point, but people are saying that this is the worst playoffs of all time. They're
major injuries. They're not
totally.
They're not just lingering things. I mean, outside of Anthony Davis had a lingering one, but Jamal Murray's. This was before the playoffs, right before the playoffs. But I mean, these are all major injuries that are happening, and so I don't quite buy. And I mean, Booker isn't a serious injury, but having to wear a mask is definitely.
It definitely screwed with him. You can tell,
especially the first game.
And I mean, his nose was broken in 2 or 3 different places. I can only imagine how infuriating that is to play with, and
trying to breathe properly and everything.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I have watched some of this. I think the problem with the NBA still today that I continue to talk about, it's just such bad basketball. The more I watch the NBA, the more I just am like. Nobody's down low. There's no inside out. They just drive and throw up a wild shot or throw out a wild pass and either turn it over or score. And it's just there's almost no sets. And I get a lot of that just comes down to the fact that these guys are all really good at what they do. and like they're all super athletic. But it's sloppy. If the Bucks, all they have is Giannis driving and kicking, or Giannis driving and going up for a shot. Like that is completely their game. They don't do anything else. And Giannis doesn't even spend time down low. Like he always is.
No, he doesn't, especially when he has someone like Trae Young literally guarding him, and Trae Young was able to do like a very serviceable job. And it's like you should be dunking at the rim, especially against someone like that.
Always.
So this season is an anomaly for many reasons. Obviously, it's a 72-game season as opposed to the typical 82 games. Most of the players were not aware of the fact that the season was going to start in December. They were projecting more like a January or even a February or March starting time. So I know that threw a lot of players for a loop coming out of the gates at the beginning of the season. There has been little to no practice time, and people are load managing and sitting out more than ever before, and I understand that circumstances and the context plays a big role in why that has been the case. But to your point of not a lot of sets run, not a lot of actual strategy being implemented, not a lot of in-game checks and balances of, okay, this is what they're showing us, this is how we attack their zone, this is how we,
we defended this set.
This is how we attack this weak defender. Right. This is how we get this switch.
There's plenty of weak defenders in the NBA.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because they're not – just because the season, it's been so condensed and there's been so much, and there have been so many players taking nights off during the regular season that it's hard to actually – I mean, the Clippers have been dealing with injuries since the inception of this Kawhi and Paul George team, so it feels like they've never really had their full team together. The Suns are relatively one of the most healthy teams left in the playoffs. Actually, I think they have just about everybody that actually matters on their roster as they head into the finals here. And then you look in the Eastern Conference, and Trae Young is going to be out, and they were able to even up the series a couple days ago with the Bucks. And Giannis is going to be out. And I hated watching the Bucks with Giannis because I think their aesthetics, just like as a franchise, the Milwaukee Bucks, and that just like very uninspiring green. All of it's gross, but they're only really exciting when they play in transition. Like their half-court offense is anemic.
Oh, it's horrible.
Honestly, it's more fun to watch Drew Holiday play one-on-one defense than it is almost any other like component of what that team has to offer. And if they somehow squeak by the Hawks and get to the finals, I mean, who knows how long Giannis is going to be out, but I quit. I mean, it's going to be great for Chris Paul and the Suns, but like I quit. Like I'd much rather see the Hawks. The Hawks got moxie, they got balls, they got swagger.
I love Nate McMillan.
I love Nate McMillan. I love Red Velvet, Kevin Herter. I mean, they got so many different.
You do.
Yeah, I mean, represent. I mean, somebody's got to do something.
Is this what you're going to bring up later?
So, to the extent.
Okay, I'll wait then. I'll wait on that. Just another quick reminder here. We can continue this, but another quick reminder: we will be giving away 2 Spokane Shock tickets at some point throughout this show. So stay tuned. Keep watching. We have a lot of sports talk here to go over. Also, before we get Spokane Shock head coach Billy back here on the show here in a few minutes as well. But yeah, also the NBA alternate jerseys, I'm getting tired of.
They didn't used to let them actually wear them in the playoffs.
Right.
It would have to be their standard home and away.
Because I hate watching the Hawks and they're running around in black.
Okay, the Hawks one isn't as egregious to me as when Milwaukee trotted out their Detroit-looking uniforms.
I know.
And those are the worst.
It's like this should be a time, especially like the NBA playoffs, more so than the regular season, is a time for people who don't usually watch the NBA to watch. Like,
exactly, and they tune in for just a second, and they're like, "Wait, who's actually playing?"
They're like, "I don't know who's playing. Maybe I'm not interested actually at all." And,
I'm getting confused, and I know what's going on.
I also am getting confused. It's pretty annoying.
No, you're so right.
So now we have one matchup left to be decided.
Yep.
And that will continue tonight. Actually, tomorrow night. Sorry, the Bucks and the Hawks play tomorrow night at 5:30. We'll see what happens with that. I would assume it'll be the Hawks. They are a little bit more well-rounded and have a better, offense.
They totally do. They have more guys that can score. They have more guys that can make plays, and overall, they're far more interesting.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Also, just like riding off the narrative that like they're early. Like,
right.
They've arrived, but prematurely in a way. So
let's talk Chauncey Billups.
God.
Let's talk a little bit of Chauncey here. So Chauncey Billups was just hired 2 days ago, I think now.
Yeah, official.
Made it official that he was hired as the next head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. That didn't go as well as I think they were hoping for.
No.
Yeah, I think the PR team was not quite ready for the sort of backlash that they were about to receive in hiring Chauncey Billups. I think it was 1993. 1993 that he
294.
was somewhere in the early 1990s. Chauncey Billups.
I think it was 24 years ago whenever these allegations
right, so maybe 96.
Yeah.
Yeah, 96 sounds right actually too. So in 1996, Chauncey Billups was alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman who at the time he was dating his current wife. I think he even had he didn't have a daughter yet, but he was in like the beginnings of his career. But I think that was all figured out. My hope take, I think he's probably going to be a decent coach. I mean, he's a point guard. I feel like point guards make really good coaches usually.
Yeah, he's in a dumpster fire of
he's
a situation, roster-wise and front office-wise.
Yeah, with a star allegedly that doesn't want to be there, even
Correct.
though Chauncey was like, hey, Dame and I
You're
have
my
a
guy.
great
I need you.
relationship.
Please stay.
We're really good. But my whole take with this entire thing, why is it just now becoming a big deal? Like he's been an assistant coach on title-winning teams, or at least title-contending teams.
He basically nearly accepted like the front office job for the Cavaliers a couple of years ago when LeBron was there for his last year. Yeah, it didn't come out then. He obviously has been on the Clippers. Bench.
Like on the Pistons. Like he's literally done all of these things, and then now all of a sudden people are like, we care about this. And it's like, I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about this stuff. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, why is it that when people... It's not even like he has a massive. I love that the train goes by. Actually, I don't know if people can pick that up, but it reminds me of Safeco or
it adds
T-Mobile.
Adds something.
And adds a little
je ne sais quoi.
Little downtown Spokane flair for you.
Yeah.
I think it sucks that when people get another opportunity when they've already have been in opportunities. It's not like Chauncey has been sitting on the sidelines for the last 15 years.
He's been involved. He's been around.
He's been very much in the spotlight. Everybody knows what he's been doing, and just now it's becoming an issue. I don't believe in that. I don't think it discredits anything that this lady has said or anything like that. I just think it's wrong that people are getting attacked for something after the fact when they've had 15 years to actually have an issue with it.
No, I totally agree. And like you said, like the disclaimer with talking about all these sorts of things when there is abuse or assault or some sort of unconsented sexual nature as it pertains to allegations that are thrown around and everything. None of us really know. There are probably a handful of people on the face of the earth that really knows what happened during those alleged incidents.
Yeah.
But to echo your point, I totally agree. The thing that I have found most surprising about this is that people that cover the league, people that have been, socialized within the fabrics of the league for decades, did not know about this did not know these allegations existed until he got hired.
Right.
People who know more than anybody else on the face of the planet did not know. And so I think that's the most disconcerting thing about this story.
Yeah.
And just to harken on your point, it's the timing of it. It's incredibly suspicious. It's nefarious, seemingly, in intent. And, let's just move on if things have been settled in the past. And
it literally had been settled. Like, there was lawsuits. They went to court. Like, things were already settled. I just don't understand.
It does nobody any good. It does nobody any good. It serves no purpose.
Literally, let's look at this comparison for a second. So we're looking at someone who is a drug addict, for instance. Does that person not get a second chance because he, has, or a drug dealer, for instance? Mm-hmm. Does he not get a second chance because he was selling drugs to kids, selling drugs to people who then, cause them to die or lose a loved one? How come those people can be given second chances and things like that? But then I just think there's a huge double standard especially for athletes and people in power. And I understand, but at the same time, you can't just say this guy doesn't deserve to ever work in basketball again. It's that's his career. Mm-hmm. It's not like this guy doesn't deserve to work at Safeway again for the rest of his life.
Or if you pronounce that should be the case, do it in the immediate aftermath and wake of the incident, not 20 plus years later when it holds no water.
And it's not, and
it's not applicable to who he is as a person, who he was 20 some years ago. That's over half of his life.
Oh yeah, and he even said that. He's like, there are things that have happened throughout my life that I'm not proud of, but it literally brings you to this point in your life.
Exactly.
So, who's going to win the NBA title? Who's going to win between the Bucks and the Hawks? Did you tell me? You said Hawks. Who's going to win between the Hawks and the Suns?
I think it's going to be the Suns. I think Phoenix is bringing it back to the Valley. Yeah, I do. I think Charles Barkley should get an honorary ring just so that Shaq can't sit up there all the time and be like, Chuck, you got no rings.
Yeah, right.
Chuck, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, sorry, Chuck. I'm pretty excited to see the Suns. I think they will be able to take that one. I think
they're the most solid team. They are the most fundamentally sound team. They don't beat themselves, and I think they are just more stable than any other team.
I think they'll all be proud to be Americans after they win the NBA title.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it actually. So quick Euro update. Have you been watching the Euros?
Yeah, a little bit. What was it? Not yesterday, but the day before is like one of the best days in international soccer history.
Yeah, you had Spain and Croatia. Croatia
was a barn burner for a soccer game.
Yeah, they had 8 goals, which may be the most in Euro history. But you had Croatia with the lead. Spain was looking terrible. They come back to tie it. Croatia comes back to tie it because I think it was Croatia was leading, then Spain, then Croatia, then Spain tied it. Went to extra time. Spain scored twice in extra time, ended up winning 5-3. And then we're like, oh, this can't get any better. Like this stake, there's just no possibility this could ever be any better. Then Switzerland and France comes on. France, the defending World Cup champion, actually ended up losing to Switzerland in penalties 5-4.
That was sad. On the part of France.
It's not good. You know,
really
Switzerland
sad.
has maybe one guy who's like actively a contributor in some of the top leagues in the world, and France has probably on their starting 11 has probably 9 of their starting 11, including probably one of the most aggressively fast and impressive strikers in Kylian Mbappe, who actually missed that final penalty kick.
He is lanky. His arms,
right?
He looks like an NBA player, just
crazy.
his arms
and
alone.
He's probably the fastest player in the world, and he's not
faster than Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, according to FIFA rankings and like top sprint speeds that have been like tracked, I don't know who tracks their speeds, but yeah, he is ridiculously fast. So that happened. The day before that, Belgium beat Portugal, knocked off the defending Euro champs when Ronaldo went down 4 years ago with an injury. And the Czech Republic beat the Netherlands, but Netherlands haven't been good since Arjen Robben hasn't really been playing. But quarterfinals matchups are set, and they actually are going to be a really good one on Friday. Actually, the first game is Switzerland against Spain. Again, Spain should take care of business because Switzerland just doesn't really have anybody. Spain consistently is one of the top teams in Europe. Italy, Belgium there at noon will probably be the best matchup of the quarterfinals. If I had to pick the best matchup for the finals, it would be probably a Belgium-England matchup. I think would be the best. The best 3 remaining teams ranking are Belgium, England, and Spain, for sure. But the Euros are just behind the World Cup because they're missing the Brazils, the Argentinas, but they're the best teams in the world. And I just love watching it. It's just fun to have like a big time tournament every 4 years, but you know, off of the Olympic every 4 years as well. So you're getting big time soccer every 2 years. I'm just excited.
It's soccer at its best, in my opinion, and people might, like La Liga or other forms of actual like Premier League soccer and professional soccer. But in my opinion, especially as a casual soccer observer, like nothing else is as captivating for somebody who doesn't really care and doesn't follow it all year long than something like the Euro or the World Cup, of course.
If you need a time to watch, or if you're looking for a time to get into soccer and like watch a big time matchup, the Euros are the time to do it.
These tournaments.
And they're literally the best time. So quarterfinals are this weekend. Semifinals will be in the middle of next week, and the final will be a week from the 4th of July. Nothing more American than the 4th of July, right?
Every time you say it, it just gets more and more
I'm just going to
patriotic.
continue. It's the patriotic episode. That's what we have to do. A quick reminder here, we do have some Spokane Shock tickets to give away, which I'm thinking I'll do that pretty soon. But I don't know quite when I want to do that. I'll keep it going. Let's go over another topic here, and then we'll give them away. The NHL has been something that I've actually very much enjoyed. Unfortunately, it's not even a matchup. The Lightning are a better team. The Canadians are lucky to get to this point. They weren't even that good in the regular season, and here they are, actually making some noise at least in the Stanley Cup Final.
Hot goalie.
Right.
Hot goalie.
Arguably the top goalie in the league. I think you could probably make a pretty solid argument there. But the Lightning are just more balanced from top to bottom, and they've dealt with – they've been in this situation multiple times over the last few years, and you can tell. The Canadians look rattled. Yeah. But there's really just nothing better than playoff hockey. Like, they're consistently wanting to fight each other.
Yeah, I know.
Like, literally, one tiny bump, and someone's just sticking, slashing the other guy. And the refs seem to be letting it go. Yeah. Like, overall, which I think makes it just that much better, because I'd like to see guys just get tripped up, and the refs are like, I didn't see anything.
Amplifies the intensity, the stakes.
Oh, it for sure does, because then it gets the fans
the animosity between the two. Yeah, no, and actually, to the Suns and Clips credit, they actually got chippy yesterday, and that was great. That was like the first time all postseason for the NBA.
Yep.
I mean, we know how things are kind of officiated and tempered there, but yeah, totally. It would be nice if it were a more compelling series. I think on paper, it's obvious that, like you said, the Lightning are far and away the better team.
Right.
And they have the pedigree. They've been there. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals, many times. And I don't know. I didn't think the Canadians were supposed to get past the, who'd the Knights anyway.
Right. I am all in on the Lightning. They're the stars and stripes of this tournament, for sure.
Nice.
The Canadians do not...
They don't back Montreal. Anybody outside of Montreal, as far as I understand it, the Canadians are like, no, we're good. Like, this doesn't really mean anything to us. Like, good for Montreal if they were to win it. But so apparently Winnipeg is like the second most cheered for, like, nationally
in Canada
team. Yeah. Other than, I think, the Maple Leafs.
I would assume the Maple Leafs. I'd have to guess,
Right. So I just thought that was kind of interesting because I heard a Canadian breaking it down, and it's really like people outside of Montreal don't really care.
What's really funny, too, is that the Canadian teams never win the Stanley Cup, and they haven't won it in a long, long time, which is awesome. And I think just another
the last ones to do it were the Canadians.
Probably. I think so. And then the Maple Leafs had some time there also as well. The other kind of big news is that the NHL expansion draft that the Seattle Kraken will take on July 21st at 5 p.m. on ESPN, because the broadcast actually is switching from the NBC network to ESPN, which is actually kind of big news.
Do you know that ESPN was getting La Liga too? As I was sitting there on the couch on Sunday night, I saw a promotion for it, and I was like, what?
Well, it's because they have that ability to run off of ESPN Plus, and they can run all of these games. Now, sometimes the quality of these broadcasts aren't very good because they're doing like 100 of them a day.
Exactly.
I don't know how they have that sort of capability, but they do. So that will be at 5 p.m. on July 21st on ESPN. The NHL's entry draft, which the Kraken will also take place in. I think they're the second pick or third or something. They have one of the top picks. That'll be on Friday, July 23rd at 5 p.m. Uchi's hosting. I love John. He's probably my second favorite guy now.
Okay.
Behind Neil Everett.
We should do a power rankings of the remaining Sports Center anchors
That's
at one
point. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
Make a note of that because I would very much like to do that.
Okay, can we get IT on that?
Yes, I think so. So we do have a couple takes here in the comments here. Tim from a couple weeks ago, not Tim, said that France's defense has always been suspect. That's true. They have a lot of old defenders who don't have the aggressive. France is not a very aggressive country, so like they just kind of get bullied, and they have been throughout history.
There you go.
They're soft. France is soft. I think a lot of people have that same idea.
What about the French Revolution?
That's their people like wanting to overthrow their government. That made them tough for a moment. See, the United States would be in the same boat when we overthrew like England, but we continued that. Like we're still tough overall. We're kind of getting a little.
Are they soft because they can have their cake and eat it too?
All right, we're gonna move on.
All right.
All right. I think I want to do that giveaway. I think I want to give away those two shot tickets.
You do whatever it is that your heart desires, my friend.
Let's definitely do that. We're going to take caller number 2 here for 2 Spokane Shock tickets. The phone number to call is 509-624-2994. You can see it there on the bottom. We'll take caller number 2. We have somebody working the phones back there. Vinny's standing there like he doesn't know what he's doing.
They're ringing off the hook.
Yeah, just off the hook. We already probably have like 45 calls lined up, but we'll see what ends up happening. So we'll continue to take caller number. I don't know how long. This phone's actually kind of funky. I don't know how they're going to handle like this influx of calls. Tim also said Canadians are America's team this year. That's very incorrect. He just wants to. Here comes caller number 1. I'm curious who that is.
I mean, Tampa Bay. I don't know. It's hard for me as an American living in that opposite corner of the United States to kind of relate to what it is that people in Tampa Bay do.
They do have Tyler Johnson, who's a Spokane kid.
Right.
So
he's been on that team for a long time.
His entire career. He's not playing as much as he used to. The final thing I do want to talk about real quick before we do have our special guest coming on to the show here in just a few minutes is the Mariners. The Mariners are somehow hovering above. Was that caller 1? Okay. Tim, there's Tim. Tim, caller number 1. Just missed out on those tickets. I think he could try again. I think if he gets through as caller number 2, I think we can give it to him.
I don't know. We should box him out.
We should cut the phone lines. Let's give it a few minutes here. So we'll take caller number 2 if it's Tim again. Oh, here comes caller number 2. So the Mariners they're above 500. They're 4 games above 500 now, I want to say, or 3. But they have a negative 46 run differential.
Okay, so what was it? Was it 2018 when they got off to that typical Mariners start?
Right.
And
They got off
were
to
good,
an
and it was
amazing
like, oh, they're gonna
start.
snap their playoff drought.
Mhm.
And every day that I would check on ESPN, it was like their run differential was like 0.5 runs. I was like, okay, this is
Like,
not.
You're like, not great.
Way.
Yeah, so
That's so Mariners.
they are now 18-7 in one-run games, which is far and away the top mark in the country. And they're 24-21 in all other games. I think they're like 8-1 in extra inning games, like just a ridiculous number. The Pythagorean win estimate's like a pretty like advanced statistics, advanced analytics, I guess, thing that a lot of guys look at. The Seattle has the 20th largest gap in its first 80 games in the last 50 years. So like it's just absolutely. They're winning way too many games. 2018 Mariners were 8th. What's crazy though is that the 2001 Mariners were 9th.
Oh, really?
That team in their first 80 games were playing way better than way worse, than their record actually showed. But those two teams are much different. 2001 Mariners are not the 2021 Mariners, unfortunately. Wait, we have caller number 2?
It looks like we indeed had a second caller.
I hope it's someone I don't know. I would.
Scott
it is.
Flosser.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to relay that.
Scotty Slosher has a special message for Tim here, and that's suck it. I think they're both going at it in the comments here, so that's actually awesome. I hope he takes him. I hope he reaches out to Tim and takes him to the shot game. I feel like that's only fair.
They're your friends.
Yeah, we're all. Did your friends try and call in? That's all right. Next time. Oh, that's right. That you have said that. That's actually hilarious. I'm very happy that happened. So, yeah, I think it's time to take a quick short break here. I think I want to get our guest on over there on the different set. We're gonna take a short break here, pop up an ad, and move over to the other set, and we'll be back here in just a sec.
The world has changed a lot in 50 years, and Kimley Haygood has changed with it. We still provide our customers with the highest level of service, whether it's financing, construction management, property management and maintenance, leasing, or sales. Our team is here to help you make the best decisions with your real estate.
All right, welcome back here to the locker room. Nice little halftime break there.
Yep.
We've never done that before, but it actually worked out pretty well. We got everything set. But we are here with the first time ever having a guest on this show. And it is Spokane Shock head coach Billy Back. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
A little bit of background on Billy here. He is currently the head coach and the the president of football operations for the Spokane Shock. Over his career, which I don't think includes this season, but he's 106-38, has 5 titles. He played in multiple indoor football leagues for a few seasons. Played college baseball at the University of Miami, Ohio, and played some pro ball in the Frontier and Pioneer leagues. So I bet that was pretty fun. I mean, I have to be. A lot of people talk about like the pro ball, the Pioneer leagues, and things like that. It kind of is just a crazy experience. Did anything crazy happen, or was it just a grind?
It was probably the best 2 summers of my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna keep all that information disclosed, but it was fun traveling city to city, 4 days at a time, and then going back a week later for another 4 days. You know, you meet a lot of friends and hang out and stuff. It's a good time.
What position did you play?
Middle infield.
Was that what you played throughout most of your life?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like big double play guy. That was always what you like to do.
Yeah, I did. I liked that, but I liked the ground balls not at me.
Okay.
Off to the side.
You like to move, and
I didn't want it right at me because that bad hop's gonna hit me in the face.
That's
I've always
fair.
thought about that. So
that is fair. So now, kind of switching over to the Shock here. When did this whole process? When the Shock were announced, were you currently head coach somewhere, or what were you doing when the Shock became a thing again?
Yeah, I was in the National Arena League, the NAL, coaching the Carolina Cobras, and I just got a Twitter message from Spokane Shock, and I'm like, what's this? It said, hit me. And I'm like, well, here's a number to call. So I called it and talked to Sam Adams about possibly coaching a team. And we were, at the end of our season, we were finished up. We lost the championship last year, lost it up 12 with a minute, 15 left, and lost it by, still disappointing. But
right.
And after that game, I called him and we talked and chatted, and something I talked to my wife about and said, hey, a couple years ago when I told you if the Spokane Shock ever came back, I would apply for the head coaching job as long as Adam Shackelford didn't want it.
Right, yeah.
And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, check this message out. She's like, no, we're not going over there. I'm like, come on. I said, one more magic carpet ride to the West Coast. What do you say?
Right.
And we came out here, checked out they flew us out. We, met everybody, and the answer was no. She was not feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. And then all of a sudden something changed. And we decided to take the job, and it's been a COVID-19 break since.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just curious, as being a former collegiate baseball player, how did you end up in the coaching ranks of various indoor football league teams? What was that transition like? What was that process like, getting ingratiated into that arena?
Well, I got called into Hagerstown, Maryland. They called me in after a game. Well, first off, funny story is my first time in college baseball, I'm at shortstop. Guy walks out and said, what position you play? I said, shortstop. I said, what about you? He said, better find yourself another position.
Ooh.
So my last game playing in Hagerstown, Maryland, guy walks out to second base with the exact same glove, Dominican descent, about 6 foot. And I said, what position you play? He's like, second base. I was like, He said, what position do you play? I said, I better find another position. And I was released after that game.
Oh, man.
And so my service was no longer needed, so I thought, I got to find something to do. So I went back home, started playing flag football. And it was pretty quick and shifty, and I got invited to a workout for the Columbus Destroyers, and they ended up signing me after that. And I thought, well, I guess that's permission to do this, and I played for 7 years, and my last game playing, I got hit, never wanted to get hit again. I played scared. I got the ball in my hands and ran as fast as I could, as long as I could, without anybody hitting me, and I tried to pick and choose who tackled me. And
not a bad strategy there.
Yeah. I couldn't outrun the big guys anymore, and I thought, shoot, if I can't outrun those guys anymore, I don't need to play this game. And I took a hit against the wall and just kind of knocked the air out of me and got up, just popped my pads off. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Kind of retired during the game, like third quarter.
Yeah.
Told the coach, put somebody else in, I'm out. And then after that, we started a team in Cincinnati the next year. The ownership group that I played for, a couple of my various places, said, we help us start a team in Cincinnati. And I said, yeah, I'll get the players together and get, be the assistant general manager, player personnel, that type of thing. And ended up firing our head coach the week before our first game because our sponsors, didn't look at him as a professional, and he wasn't. He had a cut-off, sleeveless Big Daddy airbrush T-shirt with earrings in, and we got,
kind of like Bill Belichick.
Very much like him.
But 6'6" and 330. But they said, we're going to pull our sponsorships if you don't hire a new head coach. So we told our ownership that, and he immediately said, well, you're the new head coach. Figure it out. So we had a great group of guys, and we figured it out. Had a good first 3 seasons, 3 championships, and it's been history ever since. Never had any plans on doing this.
So who would you say has had the more illustrious post-collegiate career, you or Ben Roethlisberger?
Well, I would probably have to say Ben.
Okay.
Ben, yeah.
Fair take.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing when I ever watch arena football, I don't understand how more people don't get hurt. I feel like having
seriously.
the boards there. I know that they're pretty well padded,
Yeah.
but I just feel like there's a lot of angles over there that are just ripe for someone to step weird and just completely destroy their ankle. Do you see many major injuries in arena football?
Knock on wood.
You're right.
You really don't. I mean, but the typical ACLs. But if you step wrong, we had a guy injure his ankle stepping wrong on the bottom of the boards.
Mm-hmm.
You never see many shoulders or necks or anything like that along because the padding is, you get 4-inch thick padding on the walls. So
Right.
those walls are undefeated. They don't lose.
Yeah.
But guys like me, I use the wall as protection.
Yeah.
If I'm running down the wall and a guy's about to hit me, I'll just duck.
Yep.
He'll hit the wall. You'll be down by contact. But it should have more injuries than what you typically do have. But at the same time, I think more injuries happen on that turf. Where
Right.
you get stuck and something twists and bends.
And Spokane has a new turf,
Yeah.
right? So because it looked nice. So I was at the I guess the only home game that we were allowed to go to up to this point, and that turf's nice. It's beautiful too. It looks cool. Is it nice to have? I mean, Sam seems like a great guy, and he seems like he's super interested in building this team and this community up. How nice is it to have an owner who's front and center and he's going on doing interviews saying, I expect fans to be out here because this is a great time. We're going to make it a great time for you. How awesome has it been to have Sam there kind of backing you up the entire way and just, hyping up this team?
Well, he's passionate about it. I mean, he's puts everything he can into it when it comes to having the presentation, put on the field, like the turf. That wasn't cheap. We went to Montreal to look at turf and then end up getting this out of Turf Nation. And we chose this. It's nice to have brand new turf, brand new everything. It's actually a recruiting tool as well.
Yep. But
the uniforms, the helmets, the stuff we have is perception that's that he does care and that we want to be as professional as possible. So it's beneficial. He played the game and he's been around it. And like I said, it's been good so far.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious about the variety and the difference of mindsets and approaches among players and athletes at this level. You being a former player and athlete, and just how you approach that as a coach, because I got to imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, but that there's a difference because some guys are using this as a platform, as a stepping stone to perhaps get a shot at the NFL or at the next league. And then I got to imagine that other guys are just kind of along for the last ride, enjoying it for what it is, knowing that this is the last time and opportunity that they're going to have to play a sport that they have been playing their entire life and that they love. And just how you approach that, does that create any sort of rift in teams and locker rooms with chemistry with guys not exactly trying to get the same thing out of this experience?
No, I think it's no matter what you do, you want to be great at it. Whether it's your last ride or you're trying to get to the next level. I tell guys, you have to dominate this level to get to the next. Or, you don't want to put your name on the back of a jersey and be half-assed and not remembered for something great. So whether you're at this level or not, everybody's here for a reason. And their mindset, my mindset is, I want to win. I hate losing. I'm probably the worst loser that, of course, I know. But the fact is, if they don't put their best foot forward, every day it's competition. They're going to lose your job, whether you're Blake Sims from Alabama or Dominic Sanders from Georgia or Jordan Jolly from Navarro College. That's been our best receiver for all these years. But even our quarterback, Charles McCollum, he knows his window of opportunity is closed for the NFL. But he's taken advantage of all these opportunities in the indoor game. He embraced it. He's played well. He's one of the best to do it. And it may be looked down upon by other people because it's not the NFL and it's not the CFL, but at the same time, he's getting to play football. He's getting paid to play it.
Totally.
And the kids in the stands don't know how much money he makes. They just see that he's playing. As long as he's a good guy, as long as he's a good, positive person in the community. But at the same time, it's they're putting numbers up. They're playing football, and they're considered good at what they do. One of the best at the sports. And so their mindset all have to be coming in. Has to be a championship. It can't be anything that's you're coasting through. We had a couple guys this year that came in coasting, and they've been replaced with guys who know that their road's shut down as well, but they're in it to win it because they want to be here and be successful. And like I said, anything you do, if you don't do it to try to win and be the best at it, then you shouldn't even do it at all.
So with that being said, you've been a part of championship teams, you've been a part of winning cultures. Are there characteristics or traits that this 2021 Spokane Shock team has exhibited, or maybe is it too early in the season to know if they resemble some of those characteristics and things that teams require to get to that level to win the championship?
Well, every championship team I've been a part of, it's been chemistry, and it starts at the top. It's chemistry, it's organization, and all those things have to fall into place. If there's dissension on one level or the other, then you're not going to be correct at the bottom. The players are at the bottom. And so, for that to be in championship form, we have to fix a few things office-wise and player-wise. We've had a couple injuries. That always plays a part, having the right injury bug. But at the same time, the chemistry level is getting there, from the office staff to the players to the coaches staff, the ownership. It's getting there. It's getting better. We started off slow. We had 18 months off of football, 18 months off of coaching football. Had some play calls. The first couple games was like, why did I call that? Because I had no clue what the hell to call. But it's all getting back together. It's getting in rhythm now. And this team has the talent and the chemistry in the locker room to win a championship. You just got to make sure all the speed bumps along the way, go in our favor. The ball bounces our way. But this team's got a lot of potential, but that means we haven't done shit yet.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
So my dad bought season tickets a couple of years ago when the Shock were first announced, and so we sit front row. And my question for you is, how much chirping do you hear from opposing fans? I need to know how much I need to give back to the opposing teams.
Well, I get called Jimmy Neutron.
Really?
Hey, nice mohawk. What are you, 40? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am, but I got to push my hair forward because I got power alleys now and spike it up the top. And I said, nice Spokane Valley shirt. It was in Arizona. And he's like, no, it's Raleigh in the Valley. I said, no, Spokane Valley. That's where I live.
Oh, nice.
And I said, I'm glad you guys beat the Lakers. I'm like, damn it, coach. We wanted to hate you out here today, too. I'm like, no, not today. But they'll get on you. But, it's always great when an opposing team gives you a beer to drink.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Refreshing. Never turn down a beer, popcorn on the sidelines. But I think when fans get on you and just get into you and a coach acknowledges it, it becomes more lighthearted than,
right.
F you, you suck. You look at him, you're like, I didn't call that play. I'm not the one out here.
Right.
But it's always fun to have a friendly banter back and forth. But, I think it's what makes this sport so great because everybody's up close and personal. Right. I know our goal line bandits don't like Kevin Guy, and he enjoys it. We talked about it before the game, how he loves getting on him. He'll send him Twitter messages and stuff. And so – but going to different fan bases and seeing the front row people, those are your avid fans. The front row guys are going to be, talking their stuff, involved in the game, and go around each stadium and see who's in the front row and hear what they say and how they say it or who they're sitting by. We as coaches look at that too. We scour the fan base. As you're looking around, like, hey, where's the person in the red dress?
Right.
Where's this person sitting at?
Yeah.
And you just find them, and okay, that guy's going to probably give me a hard time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The I don't know who the D coordinator is for again the team that just came to Spokane. But did you see him fall down by chance?
Was it the big?
Yeah. He fell down
Coach
coming out on
Bramante?
the field. Yeah.
Did he?
The turf monster got him,
Oh,
and it
I
was
didn't
just
see
literally there was nothing going on, and he took a tumble, and our kind of section saw it very clearly, and he unfortunately had to kind of start within probably 10 yards of us, and there probably wasn't a 5-minute span where we weren't just yelling at him,
How'd he take it?
Learning how to walk and things like that.
Yeah.
But no, definitely that access of you're in the action. Even if you're in, the 10th, 15th row, you're still closer than a lot of NFL stadiums, than even a lot of other pro sports stadiums. And it really gives you that sort of, that energy and that excitement that I think a lot of people who have never experienced it definitely should. And I think as now things start opening up and there's more fans, because, you obviously know who the Shock were, considering that you said next time the job opens, we're going to look at it.
For the fan base. That's
right.
a simple reason for the fan base.
When they are in the AFL too, and they were, selling out the arena, and, they were crazy. Those people were crazy. But, they had a good product on the field, and then they had a few down years, and I think they kind of lost some of that trust from ownership.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pieces, like you said, are in place definitely to make something special happen. What has been your favorite part so far coaching the Shock?
Really just getting to wear the S.
Right.
That's been an iconic logo, the name itself, the Shock. I've always liked blue and orange, although I'm a Ohio State Buckeye fan. I always got Illini, Illinois stuff. And but I think just being, my first time in town, I met the the fan base, the fan club. They invited me to a breakfast at Timber Creek Grill. It's unfortunately shut down now. And I walk in there, and there's about 70 fans with Spokane shot gear on. And I'm like, holy shit, this is why we came.
Yeah.
You know, this is great. And everybody's high, personable, shaking hands, hugs and stuff. And so I think that's the best part about it was meeting them and getting to know people like Dan and Julie and Mike and everybody that's in part of that fan base that kind of welcomed you in right away. And I went home to my wife. I said, we just can't suck.
Right.
A little pressure there now. We got to start
Right.
winning games. And so, but no, I think that's the best part of just, being the next head coach of the Spokane Shock, and then the history behind Siegfried, Shackelford, Keefe, those guys that won championships, and then trying to carry that on and do it the right way. We like make sure we got first class guys and play well on the field. Although we lead the league in penalties, it's for a reason. I'll take the penalties at times,
right,
but make them count, which I'm not bothered about that. But it's just we got to win games.
Yep.
So this isn't exactly like a football on the field question, but when I was looking you up on the Spokane Shock website, the picture that you had taken for the season, I don't know when that was taken or if that was pulled from years past, but you had a sick mullet going on.
Yeah.
So as somebody who's never rocked a mullet, I have a couple questions, and so it's kind of a two-parter, but would you agree with the statement that it's more than a hairstyle, it's a lifestyle? And if so, what does that lifestyle entail?
You got to own it. Yeah. I mean, because like I said, I got power alleys up here. Me and my brother decided to do COVID mullets. He's 23 and he's got a fresh front line and everything, and his mullet was looking good. And so I made my boys grow their mullets out too. So I got a blonde, and then I got a dark hair, sandy dark hair one. And the blonde ended up having a Brian Bosworth mullet.
Nice.
Sharp. I mean, we put the lines
you
in
gotta
it.
love it.
The other one was just like a Joe Dirt. I mean, just white trash. Born in Texas. He's from Texas, mullet, and we just cut it last night. And it was heartbreaking, but I had to bribe him to buy him a Lego, Harry Potter Lego kit if I cut his mullet off. Yeah, but I grew that out through the COVID, and I wanted to get some Bosworth stripes in it and stuff.
Yep.
Of course, my wife was like, you're 42. You don't do that. So I said, I got to keep up with the Joneses. I got to look the part. But that picture, I was really impressed with the picture. But I saw myself on TV the first home game, and I was like, that's got to go. Somebody lied to me, and I don't think it's cool. But no, it felt good for a little bit. It looked good in a hat.
Totally.
It was good in a hat, but I couldn't wear a hat every day. So,
So wearing a mullet, does that automatically make you a player's coach, so to speak?
Well, I mean, you got Mark Gundy that has the mullet over in Oklahoma State. I mean, and you got Dana Holgerson, who has the flapper with the hair. I'm getting to there, so that's but it's, you had to kind of act the part. You had to walk with that mullet, you had to swing your hair when you walked and stuff. And so it was kind of, I don't like things on my neck.
Right.
But that mullet sat on your neck, and what you like when you worked out and sweat, it's like, I got some wet hair back there. So it was pretty cool. It was a new adventure. I had a rat tail as a kid, down the middle of my back. You put it in your mouth. And bangs, and you wore your hat on the top of your head back in Little League days.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of trying to get a throwback, but my wife did say you're lucky that you're married.
Yeah,
so it's kind of a two-way. You need to cut that shit off.
Yeah.
Seems like she's giving you a nice little leash here for moving up here, doing the hair. Family. So who's else is in the family? Who'd you bring up here with you?
Oh, I got my wife, and then we got Stacy, my daughter London, who's 13. She goes to Centennial Middle School.
Yeah.
I got a 4-year-old son, Larkin, who was born in Texas. I got a 2-year-old son, Lennox, who was born in North Carolina. So we say we got a Buckeye, a Longhorn, and a Tar Heel.
Wow.
Traveling around having babies everywhere.
Diverse family.
The factory shut down, so they ain't having anymore. We didn't have any Spokane kids. But our daughter, she had a good time with Justin. She recently got into a school fight. And I saw the video, and I was proud as hell of her.
Nice, there you go.
Took on 2 girls. I gave her some advice for later fights in the future, so she's going to work on it. But I told her, I said, if you ever get into a school fight, because she had a girl bullying her, I said, you got to commit. And as soon as I got the phone call, we picked her up. She came, London got in a fight. She came to our practice. Actually, had one of our players go pick her up, Blake Sims. And she came back, and she's like, Dad, I committed. I was like, that's all you can ask for.
Make sure you
That's
commit
awesome.
and make sure somebody else records it so I can coach you up on how to do it better next time. I don't know about you. I only have one more question, and I'd be remiss if I didn't utilize my pseudo Big J journalistic skills.
Of course, right.
To hit you with a hard question here. But are kickers real people too?
Well, I tell them, that's my coaching advice to kickers, and Sawyer gets it a lot. I say, you got one job, and those things don't move. So kick it between them. That's it. And I tell him, if I can line up and kick a 20-yard field goal with unlaced tennis shoes, you should make them anytime in any game with your tied-up soccer shoes.
He's been doing really well.
He's been awesome, but the thing about him, he was a linebacker in high school, and so he's the first one down. When he sets the tone and makes tackles on kickoff, it fires our guys up.
Yeah.
It really does. And then he'll talk some trash at times.
Really?
He doesn't let people know about it.
Yeah.
But he says stuff on the field, and so I think he's one of the most enjoyable kickers we've been around. We've had some head cases where if their face mask was wrong or if their number wasn't right. I mean, we put Sawyer in 0. That's a cool number for a kicker because you're 0. I mean, you're a 0 on the field.
Yep.
But no, he's embraced it, and he's to me he is a person. Other kickers are kickers, but he is a person.
Okay, I think we solved it. Kickers
are people too. So my final question is, first, who is the jokester on the team that people need to watch out for in the field and know that guy's just a fun guy? And 2, the funniest story or funniest thing that's happened in your time, either in Spokane as a head coach, anything like that.
Well, the jokesters on our team is Cameron Solomon, number 12. He's a goofy. Jordan Jolly will dance any second he gets, and dance and dance and dance. Who else are jokesters? J.R. Hensley, our center, only white guy besides Sawyer, is a big-time joker. He's goofy, Oklahoma kid. Blake Sims, he's a ham. I mean, he is a ham. You can get on him about Alabama, but of course, my Buckeyes beat Alabama his senior year in the Sugar Bowl, and I tell him about it all the time. But he takes it well in stride. He'll give it back to you, but he smiles about everything. If I call him out of shape or whatever, but I think a funny story. I would say it's funny, but I think a memorable story for us was last year in 2018. We played in Maine. Portland, Maine, and we drove up from North Carolina, and it was July 4th weekend. This weekend coming up, and I got a memory on my phone, and it was a 26-hour bus trip. We sat on the Lincoln Bridge in New York because we had to pick up 2 players in New York, and instead of going around and have them meet us, I'm like, no, we're going to first class them, pick them up at their near their spot. They live downtown Yonkers, and we had to go across the Lincoln Bridge, and we sat on the bridge for 3.5 movies.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how much time it was, but it was 3.5 movies on the bridge, and me and Coach Schmidt are looking at each other like, we haven't moved. And
3.5
thank
movies.
goodness this bridge is weight-bearing because we're in a charter bus, and no one else has moved, but it's 4th of July weekend. Everybody's going north to the – and so it was a situation where it was the longest bus trip ever. So we get up there, we get our butts kicked because everybody's lagged out. Yeah. On the way back, tires blow out. So now we're sitting for another 12 hours waiting for the tires to be changed. So that's the greatness of minor league sports.
Right.
So it's all about the experience. I told the guys we're going to laugh about this someday. But not right now. We're really pissed, but we're going to laugh about this someday.
That is great advice because you always do hear about those minor league instances where, because you don't get the private jets.
They're real.
You don't, your charter is a bus if you're lucky.
And I'm a movie connoisseur now. I know every movie. I watch movies, movie quotes, what song's this movie from, all that stuff.
That's an important aspect to have. So I guess that is definitely one bonus for sure.
My family hated
culture.
Yeah, culture. You got to add up that culture. Well, you guys are back in town next week, and are you guys on a bye this week?
Yeah, unfortunately, we had a team shut down, Louisville. They had an owner trying to rub 2 nickels together to make $1. It wasn't working for him. And so they gave us a bye week this week when they come to. We're supposed to go to Louisville. I was looking forward to going back home to Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
Skyline Chili. Have you ever had Skyline Chili?
Skyline Chili. I know people from Chicago do not.
They don't like it.
They don't. Yeah, they don't subscribe to it.
You need to have it.
Okay.
You need to have it because it's something I was craving. If the team was going to eat it, now you'll shit yourself after you're done.
That's what
but it's worth it while you're eating it. So it's something we're looking forward to.
Joe Burrow also seconds that notion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Skyline Chili guy.
Yep.
Yeah, over Gold Star. It's a little battle back home. So. But we're looking forward to eating that, going home and playing, but they took it away from us. So we got a bye week this week, and then when they come to us, it's another bye week. We don't get the wins for it, which I was hoping we were getting 2 easy W's, but they said you got to earn them, which I don't agree.
Yeah, come on.
Because other teams already played them already. They got their wins.
Yeah, they got their wins.
Yeah, they were 0 wins, and so it's like we got 2 wins too, so give them to us.
It's like fantasy football. The bye weeks, they're not actual bye weeks. They're just the worst teams in the league. So
right.
That's kind of how that was for you guys. So that is unfortunate. Well, sweet. Yeah, I'm excited for the game here after this weekend, the week after. Are you going to go to a game or what?
If I got time, I work a lot, man.
He'll find
no
the
disrespect.
time. He'll find the time. But yeah, it's
if you take me with you, yeah.
Is golf work? You consider golf work?
Right. He does work at the country club.
That's what I heard.
So
true.
yeah, that is true. He could definitely.
Yeah, I
find
got
time.
good reading material when I go to use the toiletries. I have a story, spokesman review, Justin Reed, and then Sawyer Petrie.
Yeah,
On the other- I'm just
perfect.
like, all right, this is workplace bliss. I'm vicariously living out the successes of my cohorts. So
There you go.
Yeah.
And you're just there. In the
Just
bathroom.
there.
Yep, just there in the
Couldn't
bathroom.
enjoy it anymore.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Billy, for coming on.
Appreciate you taking the time
It's
for having me.
it's fun to have the Shock up and running, and you know, with competent ownership and a good head coach and a really fun product on the field.
Yeah.
It's fun, I think, for the community and something that the community needs to recognize because this is a very big sports community. It's just a matter of, I think, people realizing what's actually down there. So hopefully now that restrictions are lifted and people are going to be let in mass, I think it's going to be a good time.
And yeah, best of luck going forward for the rest of the season.
We'll
Appreciate
be
it.
keeping an eye on it and keep reporting about the Shock, and we'll see what you guys can do.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Appreciate it.
So we will be right back again. We're going to finish off with our Jabroni's Closing Time Sports Fact. We'll meet you back on the original set here in just a moment. I don't know if we have another ad, but either way, we'll see you here in a sec. All right, here we are. That was good. That was a nice little switch back to the main set here. Thanks again to Billy Back for hopping on the show. That was good. We'll have more guests here in the future now that we know that we can do that and not have it completely go wrong and just completely shut down the program.
Little trial run for everybody.
Yeah, and the trial runs seemed to work out pretty well. Appreciate the people who were
producers.
The producers did a very good job. So did the stars of the show, able to move from here to there. It's a big move. It's on the complete other side of the studio.
So goddamn sweaty.
Yeah, it's very hot in here. The AC is not working too well in the Holly Mason building, but we're here for it, and appreciate everybody who stuck with us here. We're in an hour and a half in or so. Is that right? Something like that. So
No, you're only about an hour. You're cooking.
Good. We are cruising.
In more than one way, are you cooking?
Right, exactly. So we're going to end the show here. I actually like the way that we set this up. We're going to end the show with our normal stuff here. We'll start with the jabroni here. I'll go first since it looks like you're still getting your computer on here. So go ahead and pop up my video here, and we'll break it down right after.
Out a sign, and down goes Tony Martin.
Oh, Tony Martin, you hate to see this, and I don't know what I think of this yet. I'm going to have to take a day to the side of the road, but...
Out a sign, and down goes Tony Martin.
All right, so that jump from that set to this set has caused a small glitch. So we're gonna come to that video in just a second. I'll break it down beforehand. Did you watch? I don't know why you would have, because I have no interest at all now that a guy with one ball named Lance Armstrong isn't in it. But do you watch the Tour de France? Nope. I have zero interest in watching people ride a bicycle.
Correct.
That is worse. I'd rather watch swimming, I think.
Water polo. I'd rather watch water polo.
The problem with cycling is there's not usually any fireworks. Like, not like actual fireworks, but like, just exciting moments.
That guy, I don't think it was the Tour de France, but some guy or lady was holding a sign with their back turned to all the incoming traffic that were the cyclists.
Right.
And somebody hit the sign, and then there was a mass collision. And then these things just happen for life.
Wait, hit a sign?
Yeah, somebody, like a fan, was out there with a sign, and they were too close, and their sign was too large. That part of the sign was hit by one of the cyclists.
Well, you're ruining my video.
That's the video.
That's definitely my video, but which is fine.
Well, hey, since technology is failing,
that's why
you got me.
That's why. Yeah, well, you're explaining it horribly. The video explains it way better because you can see it. I just saw that and I was like, I don't care. I almost actually turned away from it because I'm like, I don't care. That was in the Tour de France.
Okay, well,
that was literally like the race of all races for cycling. And this lady completely ended half the careers of not actually, they were fine, but she got arrested.
Yeah, she did. I saw
she
that, yeah.
like they literally like hunted her down. She left the country.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Like she literally ran away from the tour, hopped on an airplane, left, and just tried to hide.
Wouldn't be the first time someone escaped the French.
Right,
Breaking news
exactly.
Here, Giannis Antetokounmpo, hyperextended left knee, out. Game 5.
Wow. They're gonna lose.
This was expected.
It's definitely expected. They're gonna lose, and they're gonna lose badly.
He decides to play as if he's capable of putting a ball into a hoop. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, they are definitely screwed for sure, which is fine because they weren't expected to win anyway at this point, in my opinion. But it is what it is. And
we got that video if you want me to play it.
Okay, perfect. Let's roll that video real quick for this dumb lady.
Out a sign, and down goes Tony Martin.
Oh, Tony Martin, you hate to see this, and I don't know what I think of this yet. I'm going to have to take a day to process what I think of the spectators on the side of the road. But, yeah, unfortunately, Tony Martin, and it was just a domino effect. When the riders are that nervous, you're smacked in there.
Like, she's literally, like, I mean, what does she think is going to happen? Like, she is so far onto the street that, of course she's going to have a guy run it. Like, what is she doing?
Whatever her punishment is, it's not enough. I mean, people get shot for shit like that.
That's why she left the country.
Like,
people were looking to sue her. Like, the people who were injured on the tour were like, I might want to, like, sue this lady for damages.
That was really bad.
Like, how do you... I mean, that's...
Incredibly...
That's up there with what's his name from Chicago, reaching in. Like, you cannot be a fan and interfere with the field of play. The only time you can do that, it is because this is so idiotic. His is in the moment, like oh my god, a ball. Like, his is really unfortunate.
You can understand as a human how you get lost in that. Yeah,
in that moment, that ball's right there.
Yeah, like, oh my god,
exactly. This is just some dumb person who literally has no spatial awareness, and should probably never be allowed to go to the tour again. Not that I would ever want to go watch. These people, there are thousands. Let's just make this inherently clear. There are thousands of people standing on the side. This is like Bloomsday, but in like 100 more miles, and they pass you by, and you can never see them again until the next day or how. I don't even know how the tour works.
If it were like an American thing, I think we would kind of understand like the culture behind it. And
No, I wouldn't.
Why it's appreciated and why people lose their minds.
There's a reason why it happens in France.
So we did. Fair.
There's a reason why the French love it. That's all they have. They have that and a soccer team. It's just stupid. Don't watch cycling, unfortunately. I hate to be that guy, but cycling is horrible to watch.
Okay, Dabo Sweeney has to quit.
Huh?
I think it was in 2018. 2019, Dabo Sweeney said in regards to the possibility of collegiate players being paid or signing
That's what I was going to ask
yeah.
Billy back about, but that's okay.
May 18th, 2019. So it looks like retirement is coming from
Did
Dabo.
Did Freezing Cold Takes retweet this?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't follow them.
You don't?
No.
Well, you need to. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
You need to, for sure.
Okay.
But
No.
that would be, there's no way that they didn't pick this up, actually, then. Because this is, that's quite the development. Breaking news, Dabo Sweeney will have to retire.
Yeah, obviously he won't, but
No,
it
but
would
that's
be
awesome.
incredible if he did. You know, actually, I would respect him more if he did. I would.
Could you imagine?
honestly
Could you
respect him
could
more
you?
If he actually was like,
He's the first guy ever to
Yeah.
say something and actually follow through
Right.
on a situation like this.
Yeah.
That would actually be super hilarious. My quick thoughts on that. Now that it's actually official, I still don't believe that they should just get like cash in hand for doing anything, like from the universities. And I know that's not quite how it works. I just think any sort of, just another breaking news. Bleacher Report's way behind on Giannis. It's just the entirety of college athletics definitely needs to be, I think, reformed a little bit. The NIL, name and image likeness, is definitely something that should have happened a long time ago. It allows for college athletes to get paid to go to fundraisers and to sign stuff and do everything like that. But they definitely have to regulate it and make sure that the top, like Alabama, who already gets the top recruits, continues to, just based off of the amount of money that they're able to spend on players.
yeah,
right.
I think it'll be interesting to see, especially in the social media and Instagram day of age, if athletes, that are the swimmers, that are the golfers, the tennis players, the non-sexy, non-money-making sports, if they're at all distracted from putting a little too much focus in trying to engage with potential endorsements through social media and through the internet, if that ends up detracting at all from their experience as an athlete.
Right.
Just curious, just a thought. I'm curious to see how it goes forward. Obviously, we know,
Yeah.
That's
it is the land of the free, so they have the opportunity now to be completely free, allegedly. All right, my sports fact of the day, and I guess this wasn't that. I told one of my buddies this yesterday. I guess it wasn't that crazy, but snowboarding used to be banned at resorts in the early 1980s. Snowboarding was seen as a dangerous sport as compared to skiing. The first resort which allowed snowboarding was Stratton Mountain in Vermont. Which is why that resort is, I guess, like the top snowboarding resort in the country. I wonder what skiing was like in 1776, or snowboarding, if like that was a thing.
Probably not great.
I'm not sure. Life, liberty, and skiing, I don't think was the terminology back then.
No, I don't think that one made the cut.
No, it didn't. All right, what's your closing time?
I got a fact for you.
Oh, okay.
It's July 1st. You know what that means?
3 days away from the best holiday of the year.
Yes, and it's Bobby Bonilla Day.
I love
Another
Bobby
installment in
Bobby Bonilla Day.
$1.19 million. He hasn't played a game in the majors since 2001, and he will be paid through 2035.
Right, like
he will be 72 years old.
he's gonna make like $35+ million for not playing.
Shout out to the Mets for being the Mets.
For being consistently a terribly ran organization. They are in no way, shape, or form a courageous baseball team. They are not good at all. All right. Thanks for the fact.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'll do my closing time real quick, I guess. Mine mainly just has to do with his name. But the PGA Tour Champions event that happened, Dick Mast qualified for the PGA Tour. Dick Mast. He he turned pro in 1972, and after 50 years, he collected only 4 victories, which isn't too many. He became eligible for the PGA Tour after turning 50 in 2001 when Tiger only had 5 major wins, and Jordan Spieth was only 7 years old. So he's been around for a long time, but he actually won. He beat his age by 5 shots. He beat some of the players who were 20 years younger than him. It's just, I mean, it's a story for all ages. I think I have a photo. Can I get Dick Mast up on the screen, please? If you have, there's good old Dick Mast. Is that's a champion if I've ever seen one.
He looks like his face is melting.
Well, he's old.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
No, I get it. But
Thoughts on the name?
Topical.
Huh?
Topical.
Topical. Excuse me? Excuse me? Yeah, it's a very glorious name. I'm sure he is proud to be an American. All right, what's your closing?
Aren't we all? Chris Paul making the NBA
Finals.
Finals.
Right, yes.
16 seasons. Only
It's been a long
16, and especially in an NBA season devoid of positive storylines, positive narratives, any sort of positivity that any aspect of the media wants to focus on. Chris Paul is the story of the season and how he's turned around. Monty Williams too, but I mean, let's be honest. They made the trade for Chris Paul,
it's Chris Paul,
and they have been completely different. He has so much to do with the development of Devin Booker and making him actually a big-time player in big-time moments rather than just a empty stats on a bad team. And the development of DeAndre Ayton too, and solidifying him as a big man who has the game of a dinosaur. However, he is a unicorn in the sense that he can be played in crunch time minutes when the other team is going small because he's got that defensive versatility. And I feel so good for him. It's awesome.
Yep.
He's one of the best point guards to ever play the game. He's had a lot of tough breaks, a couple of them being more than his fault in the playoffs. And it's just so cool to see him get over that hump. I love everything that's going on down in the Valley in Arizona, and especially beating the Lakers in that first round series.
Right.
Shout out to your favorite person, Ryan Meza, down in Phoenix, cheering it up for the Suns in D-Book. And I think it's awesome.
I know a few people in Phoenix. Like, I feel like Phoenix, for whatever reason, is a draw for a lot of people our age. And I know exactly why.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of surprising. Like, there's a lot of people who are consistently in Phoenix.
Yeah, no. But I just think it's incredible, and I don't know. It's one of the feel-good stories. There's not enough like positive things that you can say about everything surrounding it.
Yeah, Chris Paul. So here's some stats here surrounding Chris Paul is for how long it took him to get to his first NBA Finals. 16 seasons, 22 playoff series. Wow, that means he didn't make it to the playoffs very often either.
He played for the Hornets.
Right.
And they actually had a couple good teams when he was coached by Monty Williams.
Right. Yeah, exactly. 1,212 games, 37,757 minutes, 5 different teams, 7 different head coaches, 179 different teammates, and he is just now finally making it to his first ever NBA Finals.
And he's one of the few point guards. Obviously, he's 37. He's been around for a long time, and he's playing in the NBA in 2021, where the definition of what's required and expected of a point guard has massively shifted.
Completely.
And he plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, all the little nuances and subtleties of playing the point guard, like when DeAndre Ayton has, like a perimeter player switched onto him and he plays good defense, and then they get the defensive board and then he's running the floor and Chris Paul gives him the ball because he's rewarding his activism on the defensive end and staying locked down. Like small things like that, he does that shit, and I don't know.
Right.
I got nothing more to say. Chris Paul, Suns,
very,
baby.
very impressive.
Suns
Very
in
probably
4.
one of the more underrated point guards in NBA history.
100%.
I think he'll be more respected once he retires.
Yeah, totally.
And
if he's able to get this chip.
Right, which he should.
Even though people will poo-poo it.
Right.
But such is life.
I do want to end up real quick to end the show here. Lionel Messi is now officially a free agent today.
Let's go.
His contract did expire. It was a 4-year, $640 million contract.
I saw that.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I completely understand it. But what's funny is he's obviously been linked to some of the best teams in the world. But what's considered to be the worst team in the world also went out on a social media page asking Messi if he'd like to play for them.
Seattle Sounders?
Hey, no, not a chance. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it was, but they said on SportsCenter or ESPN that it's quote unquote the worst team in the world. But that'll be fun to watch. Lionel Messi sweepstakes of 2021 will probably be one of the more fascinating storylines over this summer to see where he goes. Hopefully it's Man City. See if that happens. That'd be awesome. I'd love to root on Man City. But we're heading into our 4th of July weekend here. Do you have anything planned?
Wait, is 4th of July weekend this weekend?
I think, yeah. I just
Okay,
want to make
sorry,
it very clear.
you didn't mention
I didn't
it
make
during
that
the
clear
show.
enough for you. My bad.
I hope you enjoy
plans?
it.
Any plans? That's what I was.
Tentative. I gotta talk to the boys, see what's going on. I don't know. Might go to the lake. Might go to a driving range. Nothing too crazy because the following day is Monday.
Right. You know, you can celebrate the 4th of July during the day. And like go crazy during the day.
Being hungover on a Monday sounds rough.
That's why you drink earlier in the day and then you sober up by the nighttime.
Fair.
There you go. I just solved your problem.
Thank
I
God.
just solved your entire problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a fun show. That was a lot better than our previous 2 shows.
Yeah. Shout out
Helps.
to the producers.
Yeah, it helps that we have a show that's longer than 16 minutes.
Yep.
We jumped over at a nice interview with head coach of the Spokane Shock. We gave away 2 Spokane Shock tickets, which I think might be kind of a staple, it sounds like.
Yep.
So we'll continue to see how that goes. But thanks for stopping by, enjoying the show. I know we enjoyed ourselves. We're going to head off here for the fun weekend, and we'll see you here again next week. Same time, same place. And that was The Locker Room, episode number 49.
Thanks for watching The Locker Room on Spokane Talks. Check us out on Facebook as well as our other platforms. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation by emailing us at info@SpokaneTalksOnline.com. And for more sports news, opinions, and content, follow Justin and me on Twitter.